Here comes the nasty gram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome back to the Nasty Gram D&D podcast. This is A Tangled Web, Chapter 22, Unlikely Allies.
Feeling it too hard is the poison to the heart of a cynic.
The favor shown to me by the matrons of the ruling council is conditioning. Fleeting. I can feel it.
You don't understand. Still, you've spent too much time away from our city.
A great arched door opens as if by some unseen servant. The camera floats in. The Fang of Loath will die, and the assassin is already being tempted by our enemies.
The Duskern boy.
Yes. The camera twists through labyrinthine hallways.
They choose you because they think you're weak, easy to manipulate. They think the surface has made you soft.
The camera stops at a window and turns to look upon the moon, still hovering above Narbondellan. A great drow matron once told me that Menzo Baranzan was given to the drow as a reward.
Consolation, more like it. When we were driven from the surface. A refuge to hide. But we made it into something greater. We turned a dark hole in the ground into a thriving city.
The camera continues through a grand ballroom. Statues of noble drow priestesses adorn the walls, the glisten of fairy fire accentuating their grim features.
There is a conviction in your blood, an ambition that other races cannot understand. Look around you. We turned nothing into this.
You supported me to the council. Let me share with you some of the things I have learned about the world around us. And we see the door of a chamber open, and the camera hovers in place while Matron Triel Bainray strides across the floor. Standing on the balcony, silhouetted by the moon, is Matron Savrakeen Vandry. Her silhouette is a pillar of obsidian dotted with stars.
Waterdeep. Legendary heroes and lords of Waterdeep lead the city guard in a desperate battle against giant pit fiends through the streets of the city. Below the streets, and even below the sewers, we see another army gathering in an underground tavern. An army of cutthroats and thieves prepare for war. Myth Dranor. We see the ruins of an ancient city overrun by devils. In the distance, we hear a chorus of elven voices singing. 24 elves cut a path through the hordes of devils towards the open gate to hell. They dance through their enemy, never losing ground, never stopping their song. When they reach the gate, we see Doril Lorel gracefully take the head off a barbed devil, spin, and step forward into the gate. Candlekeep. We see a stone door frame leading into a library. Its edges begin to glow red, and what looks like a ripple of crimson water spreads across the opening. As it passes, the library interior is gone, replaced by a hellscape, the Bronze Citadel. Unlike the other gates, the people at this one are prepared. The mad rush of imps is met by an army of mercenaries, veteran soldiers of 100 different races, all united under one banner. They push forward. In their front rank is Malachi. He smiles dangerously as he leads his men through the gate. Welcome back to the Nastygram D&D podcast. This is your Dungeon Master, Jake.
This is Josh. I'm playing Severe Reborn.
Please no.
Didn't think the voice could get worse.
Hey folks, Dan here, playing Silavar, the Warlock, and Concerned Father.
What's good, fam? Matt here, playing Jidin Duskrin, the Arcane Trickster Rogue.
Hey, this is Devin, and I'll be playing Savarkeen Vandry, matron of House Vandry. Back.
Wow.
And Devin, why don't we keep these cutscenes of different gates going, and you tell me what we see in the High Forest.
Just thinking I could fist bump Darrell around next time I see him, half elf to half elf.
In the High Forest, it's daytime, and we see just from high up a clearing, and there's smoke, little smoke pillars rising through the trees. We zoom in and we look down on just like armed and armored women and men, actually, as well. There's a whole group of people. But
So
you can,
inclusive.
It is. Well, they probably got some help too. But they are, the women specifically, the armored women have silver hair, as they are moon maidens of Saloon. And we see even through the trees, there are more arriving by caravans and horse, but in ones and twos and groups of 20 and 30. And among them are beasts of Mialiki that are just sort of moving through them. You actually hear some like laughter and the sounds of joy. And then there's this arch with this hellish scape through it.
Nice.
And there is one dwarf in particular that we have seen in a cutscene. Silver hair with this battered old breastplate and a big old warhammer.
No one remembers that cutscene. It was too long. Everyone skipped it.
I know. It's in the lost episodes.
The lost episode. The director's cut. It's
Yeah,
an
that's
extra
the
3
director's
hours. All right. Picture, if you will, an office in hell. We see a man being tortured eternally on some sort of rack, his back ripped open and bloody. Next to him, a large drafting table with this tall, thin demon, red-skinned, spikes protruding from its skin at weird angles, 4 arms. In one arm, it holds a scroll. It reads over it. Its other arm, it picks up a quill, dips it into the man's back. He screams as he's done countless times before. And then the cartographer draws something on the map. 12 small doors. And in the center, a keep. And then he labels the map. The 12 gates of Faerun. We zoom in on that. And then the picture of the map turns into the actual place. We see a keep of bronze in the center of this large circular walled area. And then we see 12 gates. Beyond each one, we see very different landscapes. A desert, a mountain, a forest, the Underdark. And standing around in groups, we see people from all of these places. We see the Black Company. Is that what they're called?
Night Company.
The Night Company.
Nightfall Company.
The Nightfall Company, excuse me. We see the Nightfall Company led by Malachi and Morgana. We see a group of thieves, cutthroats, assassins led by a dark elf in a feathered hat.
Lots of jewelry.
Lots of jewelry, smoking a pipe and just looking around at the scenery as if it's quaint.
Yeah, he's enjoying
He
himself.
looks like it. We see a group of elves of every different type, moon elves, wood elves, sun elves, even an aquatic elf, all in resplendent armor of mithril scales.
Ever meet?
You're not sure.
Oh my God.
And then we see the blade dancers of Mithranor with Durrell. And, of course, we see a contingent of soldiers from Menzoberranzan. Several priestesses pacing nervously, almost more worried about the other people that are here than they are about the devils, which are at the moment being kept at bay. And we also see the four of you.
We're authorized to speak in this meeting?
You're all here. It's not so much a meeting, so much as it is a battle. Imagine, while you're all there is fighting going on at the perimeter on these walls. In fact,
So we're through.
you are through.
We're in hell.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of people from a lot of different places here, and through one gate you actually see a group of wizards in red robes.
Let's not go through that one.
Oh, currently the walls surrounding the 12 gates of Faerun are being held by dwarves. You're not sure who's really organizing any of this. It kind of feels chaotic. Some of these groups are friendly already and are kind of talking to each other. Everyone's kind of giving you guys a lot of space, giving the wizards in red robes, the wizards of Thay, a lot of space. So it's a weird sort of tense situation where it's like, well, we all know we need to kill any devils that get close.
When I think Xavier would know this, if you kill a devil in his home plane,
Yeah, it's dead.
it's destroyed,
Yeah.
right?
They're much more cautious here.
They don't the hordes that keep kind of coming don't seem to care. They're almost mindless. Like
Yeah.
the imps and the little, what are they called? Lemur or whatever.
Lemurs.
They're like the lowest, the lowest form, like almost more like beasts than anything.
I think just amongst the four of us, Xavier says,
The big ones don't seem to be pushing in yet.
these gates, they will not close. There's no powers that I know of that can do so, unless the gods decide to intervene. All these peoples must be convinced. I'm no tactician, but they say in a war, to have two fronts exposed is folly.
And here there are 12.
It must be one.
These gates are open because of the gods' interference.
These gates are open because of us.
Jidden, you're just staring at that keep. It looks like your old home. It's made of bronze, but it's made to look exactly like House Duskren looked before it was destroyed.
You must convince them. This is not just a battle. This is the way of things. All of these different groups and races and cultures will have to stay here forever.
Who's got diplomacy?
Mercenary captain over there.
A little.
I can use an ability once per day. My charisma bonus is slightly higher as a half-elf. This must be an outpost of Faerun forever.
You guys want a list of all the gates? I don't think I've ever done that.
I've got Candlekeep, Waterdeep, High Forest, Mithranor, Menzoberranzan,
Yes.
Evermeet, question mark?
Evermeet?
Thay,
Yep.
Mithra Hall.
Yep.
I'm missing 4.
The Moonchase? Silvery Moon? Citadel Adbar?
Zen Kalimshan?
That's
And Kalimport.
Kalimpor. Okay.
Citadel Adbar is one of the great dwarven citadels up north.
Nethril?
It's not. No, it's that one was already listed. So there are 2 dwarven cities,
Got it.
basically. Yeah, we're not racist. We're including the
Way,
dwarves.
way up at the top.
Way up. Okay.
and 1 token people of color, Jake. That's all
Which
you get.
one's that?
Calimshan.
Well, it's not my fault. I didn't design Forgotten Realms. If you got a problem with that, you can take it up with Gary Gygax. No, he did Greyhawk.
Yep.
I don't know. Ed Greenwood,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that guy.
Yep. So send all your angry letters to him.
Racist prick.
He made some black people. They were evil and lived underground.
Sounds
They're great
unbelievable.
people. It's fine.
Also, Calimport is basically like a huge stereotype, but it's all good. There are people here from Calimport. So, yeah, there you are. It's sort of chaotic. The fighting is being kept to the wall, to the exterior. You're not sure if you're not sure how long those dwarves have been up there. But you can tell that both of the sort of dwarven forces that are here are working together. They have a good relationship. Salvar, your son comes up to you.
Malachi.
Quick point of order. Can we say we had a long rest?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got blood on his face.
That's crazy.
What is it? What is it?
Don't worry about it.
Dan saw it.
Just roll my portents.
That's crazy. That's good for extreme is good with portents either way, right? Like, yeah.
I might have rolled
Josh is-
a 1 and a 20.
That's pretty good for the final
And
portents.
witnessed it.
That's pretty good for the final portents. Yeah, his face is kind of bloody. You see he's got like a scratch from some sort of imp or something, but he's in good shape other than that. He says, "Now what?"
Now, my son, we must gather our forces.
He kind of gestures around.
Yes, but we must unite them.
I've spoken to Bergendarth. We're on good terms with them. We've worked with them before. We can work with them.
Salavar's nodding. It must be made clear that there is one or more that have brought this to bear. He looks towards the keep, and he must be replaced. And it is the realms that must defend this place now. How fares your sister?
Good. She's on the other side for now, but preparing her spells.
Continue your work. I will.
Always researching.
Salavar says, I must speak to the others. And if we can, we must claim the citadel.
He nods.
Salavar puts his hand on his son's shoulder for a moment and then moves past him to the rest of the group.
All right. Jidden, your boss walks up to you, smoking a pipe. He's got a big wide brim hat on. He says, "This is the deepest shit I've ever seen.
I figured you'd enjoy it.
I don't think I'm going to stick around very long. Anyway, there's more official people coming from Waterdeep.
I'm surprised you showed up at all.
Wanted to see it.
Yes,
Surprised that you're alive.
I'm disappointed in you. You know I was right, and you were wrong. There's a third Duskrin alive.
Oh. Well, which side is she on?"
That's not important.
He looks towards the keep. He says, "Probably in there."
Yes, familiar, isn't it? We have some planning to do.
He looks around at the different groups. You notice a group of knights. You're not sure where they're from, but they look like they're about to go attack the drow. And he kind of looks at them. He looks at the wizards. He looks at the weird elven council. He says, "This group is as likely to kill each other as they are to kill devils."
Jidden actually laughs. It's going to be a good time.
Someone needs to be in charge of this madness. Not me. I'm going home.
Safe travels.
Those, he says, he points to like some members of Bergendarth. He says, those are the only ones crazy enough to stick around. You've worked with most of them before. Like it's a lot of members that you've worked with. And he shakes your hand and says, I'll see you when you come home.
I'll tell you all about it when I return. Don't forget you owe me.
He kind of waves over his shoulder.
You see Salavar, you see Savarkeen talking with Malachi, and you see behind her are like rows of archers, drow archers, and she's like just talking with him, and they're pointing out into the sort of the distance.
Salavar walks up to Zavir, kind of on our small outpost that we've carved out.
Since we spoke before, Zavir is kind of retreated to like a little, sheltered spot. And you see him in the midst of what you know is some kind of ritual casting or prayer. He's been at it for some time. You see his eyes kind of rolled over white. You wait a couple minutes and then he kind of blinks. You see him come back to the present. He was casting divination. And I'm going to give him the answer I want him to get.
Okay.
It's just an idea, a plan.
Sure.
That he'll propose.
Sure.
He kind of stands up and collects up his trinkets around him. You see the fox kind of helping him, running around, picking up things, bringing it back to him, dropping them.
Any words of wisdom, Zavir?
I'm no diplomat, nor strategist, nor warrior, but I have a plan, a thought that was given to me about how to make this place hold. I leave it to you to lead us onward. His eyes raised to like the keep in the distance.
Salavar's nodding.
We need to gather representatives from all 12 gates.
I will do so. Salavar turns kind of his back and walks down the steps out towards the other kind of organizations.
Okay.
He addresses each in turn, and his pitch, I think, to each is, we need to speak. We have kind of information about why this is happening and who's behind it. Because I imagine these gates have opened up.
Yep.
Kind of surprising everyone.
And some of them have come here, to support you on purpose. And some of them have come here because basically once the first couple groups kind of fought back, and those groups, so like, say you're in Thay and this gate opens and you're fighting, and then all of a sudden it stops. And then they sent a group in to like investigate, like, why did it stop? What's going on? What's on the other side? So yeah, a lot of these groups are like, what the fuck is going on here?
So I'm going around saying, we have answers, come and meet with us.
Okay.
I'm sort of a weird ambassador because I kind of look like I belong here, but
all right.
Welcome. How are you enjoying your stay? Do you have everything you need?
Local West.
Do you need any towels? Towel bin?
Okay. So yeah, let's say you get them to all send someone.
Yep. I murder all of those people.
There's two dwarves. One of them is in full plate armor, head to toe. You cannot see any skin. His helmet is carved to look like a dwarven face with a crown, so you assume he's a king. The other one looks like he's probably some sort of cleric, probably an advisor to a king.
Sure.
And then, there's this elven woman who, looks eternally youthful, but is probably thousands of years old. We'll say Doril represents, Mithranor, the Blade Singers. And then so on and so forth. There's people from all of the other places. The representative from Menzoberranzan, at the moment, go figure. The important, powerful people don't want to come here. At the moment,
They're smarter
the
than us.
forces here are being led by someone that you had actually heard of but never met, and that is a tiefling or a half fiend, son of the Benray house. So he is a noble born, but much like you, he's half demonic.
Yep.
He's got 4 arms. He's about 7 feet tall, and he looks way less drow than he does demon.
Glabrizu.
But he like just kind of nods and acknowledges like what you're asking. But he doesn't send anyone. Well, he passes the word on.
Sure.
So when your meeting kind of initially starts, there's no drow representative there, except Salai.
As they gather, Xavier says to the 3 of you, I've asked for guidance, and I think I've received it. I have a thought to give for everyone gathered here.
Speak it.
After that, it will be up to us and to you, Salvar, to lead us into that keep to do what must be done. But it won't be for nothing if this won't hold.
As these 13 representatives start to gather, before you guys even kind of introduce yourselves or start the conversation, that dwarf says, like kind of echoing under that mask, he says, "We need reinforcements on that west wall. My men up there have been fighting for 2 hours straight." Dorel actually nods. He says, "We've got you." And then he gestures to the Blade Singers, and some of them go up there.
Xavier's eyes linger on Dorel for a while, and then he breaks them away.
He looks at you and kind of wondering where he knows you from.
He says to Salvar, a little quieter, the 2 of you can hear him, but he says, "If we end Malkazid, we have to make a deal with whoever else takes his place."
It will be a deal made by this. He kind of gestures with his hand across the people who are kind of walking in.
He kind of nods and
A pax.
he waits and closes his eyes. He's going to use his channeled divinity for knowledge of the ages
Okay.
to give himself proficiency and persuasion.
Awesome.
You've never used it, right?
No.
Oh, you used it? Didn't you use it once? Once?
I've used this once for stealth, and I rolled like a fucking
a
one or two.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've never rolled persuasion though. I don't
All right.
think in the campaign.
Well, you could roll a 20.
It's got those warlock levels.
So Xavier kind of waits. He stands there and he waits for everyone to just kind of impatiently come to quiet.
I'm smiling. Savarkeen is smiling warmly at Dorel Lorel.
You see Xavier and you see his face. It's just a lot more expressive because it's a full face. You see him look nervous, and he looks at each of you kind of
Still,
earnestly and almost plaintively.
Salavar gives the old movie nod.
He says, clears his throat and projects his voice as best he can. "My name is Xavier Malira, and I was born a drow of Chednasad. And I died here, and in my failure and my death, I opened these gates. I held the keys, and it is my responsibility for the horrors that have been unleashed in each of your homes. It was not our goal, but it is my fault. These gates will never be closed, short of the intervention of the gods. And they will never hold with the distrust, the fear, the hate that is here."
The Red Wizard of Thay says, "This is true. These things cannot be destroyed." And then that elven woman says everything he says is true.
I have sought guidance in how we can ever maintain this. And my proposal is this, that each of your peoples send a member of council of these 12. This place will be held in perpetuity, and each gate will be guarded by another. The council will decide, and it should be of a people they distrust and fear. Those of Mithranor to stand guard at the gates to Menzo Baranzan, and the drow of Menzo to hold the gates to Mithranor. 6 times over. Trust offered, trust earned. A tithe of forces to hold here forevermore. We will lead a force there. He looks towards the Bronze Keep. Behind our general, he looks to Salavar. And we will end the one who is responsible, whose machinations put into place these gates being opened. If we are successful, his predecessor may make a deal, but we will guard these gates forevermore. If I live, I offer my services to the council as an arbiter, as a go-between, as whatever is needed. These gates are here because I let the keys fall, and I will serve out my time keeping them intact.
Okay.
I'm going to use my 20
Oh,
importance
okay.
for persuasion,
Powerful.
Which you're currently proficient in?
which is a 27.
27.
Love it.
Pretty good. Wait a second.
solid.
Don't half-elves get a bonus on diplomacy?
Yeah, they do.
No,
Wait, is that 3.5?
Yeah.
Oh, that's old school.
In spirit. In spirit.
Maybe I gave myself guidance. We'll make it a 31. Make it a 31.
31. I like that.
So that was the, I prayed to divination
Cool.
to Ilmater
Yep.
Nice.
for a way. And that was the task he gave me and the plan.
Okay.
Everyone shares the burden.
Yep. And like the
Mutually assured
destruction, basically.
Yep.
Yep.
Nice.
You hear that phrase repeated by a few of these as they all start to sort of talk to each other. You see a lot of them eyeing the one that they would consider their greatest enemy. Waterdeep and Calimport, Evermeet and
Fae, maybe?
Fae, yeah.
Red Wizards are
Yeah.
gnarly.
Menzo and the Blade Dancers of Mithranor, which isn't, I mean, it's like an abandoned, it was a great city, but now it's nothing.
It's been
Menzo's
through this
got
a couple of times.
Menzo's got a lot more to lose in that deal, but and this kind of goes on for a while where they kind of break into these groups of like-minded people and are discussing your proposal. The Red Wizard actually comes over to you, Savrakeen, and says, he was once a dark elf?
In a way, I suppose that part of me never changed.
He's talking about
Said he.
Oh, he.
Yeah.
I know you identify.
Listen, you might have heard about me. I've been up on the surface for 100
Yeah.
years. I was doing some big things out in Laurel.
no big whoop.
He was remade, though his passion, his strengths remained. I hope this cooperation allows us all to cast off weaknesses we have carried for so long. She's looking at the drow.
One of the dwarf cleric says, these forces will never end. This is a place of eternal strife, eternal conflict. We enter the endless war.
What other choice is there?
He shrugs. I see none other at the moment.
Salavar nods to this.
I see unity as our only option.
Still nodding.
The other dwarf whose face you still haven't seen, you hear him grumbling under that helmet. And the two of them kind of move away, and you can see them kind of arguing about the whole idea. And you hear him saying, "Never trust a drow."
Heard that before.
Drow wizard to the west.
Not a Drow wizard anymore.
Yeah.
That's right.
And this goes on for a while, and you start to think maybe this isn't going to happen. A few fights almost break out as they're kind of debating logistics of this. But a weird thing happens as it takes them so long to kind of debate. Practical matters keep coming up. A dwarf will come down and say, "We need healing up on the northern wall," and then.
At one point, Silavar responds to it and sends the Nightfall Company to support one of their spots.
Awesome. The Nightfall Company takes a section of the wall. A little while later, Savarkeen, you send your harpies up, and with them in sort of the back lane, firing arrows over everyone's head, it kind of relieves the dwarves who are exhausted, who have literally been fighting for hours.
The Moon Maidens set up behind them and treat any wounded and get them out back out into battle.
Yep. And these leaders who have been kind of arguing about how this is impossible, they start to kind of look around and realize that it's already happening. And that dwarf, he comes over to you, Zavir, and he takes off his helmet. He's got a long gray beard. He looks old. You've never seen an old dwarf before.
Zavir was kind of sitting, he kind of went off to the side, looked drained and exhausted after, and he was kind of just sitting cross-legged with a fox in his lap. And when the dwarf comes, he comes to his feet.
It's impossible.
No, just very difficult. A burden.
Yeah. He looks around. We're up for the challenge.
I am too. And anything I can do.
Silavar, kind of standing off to the side, turns to the other, groups that are gathered below.
He says to the dwarf, "But don't tell me. My voice doesn't matter anymore. Tell them."
Silavar kind of speaks up and he says, "What say the rest of you?" He's standing kind of next to the dwarf.
One by one, they all agree. And the last one to agree, Savarkeen, you are the representative of the drow here. All eyes kind of fall to you, knowing, the reputation of the drow. You can see in all of these different people, the innate distrust, the assumption that eventually you're going to betray them.
Many of your people have felt the sharp edge of the drow, their fingers in the night, their spells woven on your ears.
As she's speaking, this dwarven moon maiden comes over and rests a hand on her shoulder.
But as we have all discussed, the time has come for renewal of oaths, renewal of friendships, cooperation. The metal is hot. Our safety, our security, all of our livelihoods now stand in a ring. 12 gates between them.
Doral comes over and puts a hand on your other shoulder.
We were brought together by chance. Whatever god you believe brought you here, whatever weave of fate, we are here now, in the realm of all that wants to destroy us. And they are rebuked. If we stand in this place together, There is nothing we cannot do. She looks out to the bronze keep.
Salavar sees her look towards the keep and says, Xavier would have you imagine that it is his burden alone why these gates exist. But it is the plan, hundreds of years in the making, by the one called Malkazid. That is the name that you should bear your rage against, that we will fight against, and we will destroy. It is his power, and it is his plans that have led us here. We must replace him. We must usurp his power here and forge something strong and binding in his place.
A dwarf says, well, what are you waiting for, boy? Go take his head. We'll guard the walls. Let's go. He motions to a group of drow, which follow him to the wall.
Very good. We begin. And from there, I think we sort of move away from this kind of collective and break down into these groups that talk about assaulting this keep.
Okay.
I think it's going to be probably a number of different, almost special forces, so to speak. That
Oh,
will,
cool. Everyone's going to split up with their own
not
party.
us, not us. We're going to be our own thing.
No, you're each going to be in
Yes.
charge of 12 NPCs.
I love it. I love it. Perfect. And we're going to summon a lot of other things to help us.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Can we wrap that in 45 minutes?
Yep. No problem.
Bunch of animal companions.
But I think the without knowing the layout of the keep quite yet.
You do know the layout.
Oh,
of the
we
keep.
do.
Well, as I said to Jidden,
Yep.
this is a replica
Oh,
of
Yeah.
your home, of the
Oh.
place where you grew up.
I'm going to go hang out in my bedroom.
I was going to say that whole time, as you break up into groups, you look around for our group and you notice that Jidden hasn't been in the conversation. He's actually been standing off in the side of the room, and his mage hand is out with a dagger, and he has one as well. And the entire time he's been etching the interior layout of the keep. So as you walk up, you'll hear him say, "Funny, isn't it, brother? All this time, and Mother, she hasn't been any more original."
Jidden, you remember a long time ago, your sister had a friend who used to sneak into the castle.
That's right.
And you knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't dare say anything because she might have killed you or at least taken your tongue. But you're looking at the exterior of the castle and you're like, it won't be as easy to climb as it was when it was stone. But you see the path that he used to take. You see the balcony that he used to go into. And you know that that's the easiest way in. You just need a distraction. You just need someone to kind of assault the front gate, basically,
Yep.
while you make your way to the upper levels.
So, brother, how do we return home?
Here. This part of the building was always too close to the wall.
Salavar is sort of nodding slowly. Dangerous, but if there is a sufficient distraction, it's possible.
It was possible for the second son of House Vandry.
It
Xavier,
was fun watching him scramble up that wall.
Xavier kind of pops the top off a scroll case and pulls a scroll halfway out and says,
It just has a mushroom cloud on it.
I've studied this long. In my last life, and again, this can open a path.
What is it?
Destruction.
We can work with destruction. You think it's sufficient?
With your leadership, General, of the other forces, we'll need some more distractions, but this will punch a hole.
This will serve as the focus. Our remaining teams will harry the edges while we target our way in. I will speak to the others. I will gather those willing to attack the fortress. We begin in earnest. Salavar looks around, and he is going to probably he's what he's going to do is he's going to go and speak to Malachi.
Okay.
And he's going to ask Malachi to volunteer some men that will serve as sort of a small squad, and also to send word to the other groups to do the same. And they're going to kind of band together in small groups, maybe even the same ones that will guard each other's gate and work together. And those small groups will serve as a secondary force to the meteor swarm.
Okay.
That will attack other, maybe the other key gateways into the house.
Okay.
And serve as sort of a distraction.
So sort of going in every door at once,
Correct.
basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we will look for our way in over the wall.
Awesome. Okay. He gets to work right away.
Okay.
He starts speaking with other groups.
Delegating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Any spell prep?
Yeah. Surprisingly to you, as you watch him, you see him. The first person he goes to is that elven woman from Evermeet, and they
Asks her for a lock of her hair.
yeah, she's like way older than him. Yeah, cougar, super cougar, super cougar. But it's just because of your background and everything that you sort of were dedicated to for so long, seeing him like talking to this elf, this literal paragon of elvenness, is just crazy. It's strange. And she's very receptive. She actually helps him to speak to the other groups.
Okay.
Probably got some good diplomacy.
Great.
For prep, Zavir ritual casts Rary's telepathic bond.
Nice.
So the four of us, and I can actually do 8 willing creatures. So
4 others.
the 4 of us, and then whoever Salvar tells me are like the key leaders, can telepathically communicate for an hour anywhere on the same plane.
Okay.
Awesome.
And I cast see invisibility on myself.
Yeah, I'm going to cast True Sight on myself.
Oh.
And I cast
True Seeing.
Aid. I gather you together, and you probably hear, like, besides observing him, like, off in the corner, you hear Zavir pray for the first time to Ilmater, and he casts Aid at 6th level. Everyone gains 30 hit points. That's not temporary. Your max goes up by 30. Wow. And that lasts for 8 hours, no concentration. So,
Dear Lord.
Matt, you hear your brother's voice. He says, destroy the gem. Consume his power. You'll need it, brother. You don't know what you're walking into.
What about the consequences, brother?
The consequences of not doing it are death. Or worse in a place like this.
At least it would be a chance to leave. I don't want to suffer your fate, brother.
You can feel the heat of that gem.
I won't close the door yet.
All right. Any other prep?
I'm going to cast Armor of Agathis on myself. That's, I think it's 8 hours.
Okay.
Oh, does it last that long?
It lasts a really long time.
It's like mage armor kind of.
So,
one
maybe it's only
story thing,
Mhm.
but I'll wait to do this literally on the way out.
okay.
So let me know when we're like,
Sure. Like
Rolling.
last second.
yeah,
Armor of Agathis is 1 hour.
That's how long aid lasts, right? So,
yeah.
Same.
No, aid's 8 hours.
Oh shit.
But see invisibility is an hour, and
Cool.
the telepathic bond.
So
So I do
is
that
true
when
seeing is an hour.
So,
wait till we're otherwise prepared.
everything is ready to go. Everyone is prepared. Actually, I think this will be kind of fun. Give me 4 names or 4, people that you're adding to this bond that could potentially be called on
For help.
for help.
Oh, cool.
You don't need names, just
Sure.
like, the
Should we get it? Should we make it spicy? Should we do Red Thay?
We should each pick one, right?
Oh yeah. Why don't we each-
100%.
I like that.
Yeah. Do you want me to? I can remind you of kind of what your choices are if you want.
I got them written down.
Yeah.
Candlekeep, which is represented by Dark Company.
Yep. Dark Company. So that would be actually probably.
Company. Yep, that's mine.
Night Company. That
Yep.
would be.
Night Company.
Jar Axle's probably going to be
Nightfall
next.
Company.
Nightfall Company.
Nightfall
Nightfall
Company.
Company.
So that would be your son
Yep.
probably or your daughter.
Yep.
Waterdeep,
Jar Axle.
which probably Lords of Waterdeep might
At
have.
this point, there's actual Water Davian army here. There are still members of Bergendarth, if you wanted to random assassin, but
High Forest, Mithranor, Darrell, and the Blade Dancers,
Mhm.
Menzab Ranzan, the Elves of Evermeet, the Red Withers of Thay, the Dwarves of Mithril Hall, the Moonshay Isles, Silvery Moon, Calimport, and the Dwarves of Citadel Adbar.
all right.
Who's got noms?
I have one.
I got mine too.
Devin, what do you got?
We see a dwarf, a silver-haired dwarf.
Your girlfriend.
Yep. She is, there's like strips of white cloth
I'm named
that
after a
she's
dwarf.
laying, that Savrakine Salai has her hands out in front of her, and it's the sort of this ritual. And then we see this dwarf put a ring on her finger as
she say yes.
as Selena casts warding bond with
Oh wow,
Savrakine
that's
Salai.
the one where you share hit points.
It's a 2nd level spell.
Oh,
You just doubled his hit points.
yeah.
Yeah, I have resistance to damage, but she also takes the same damage that I do.
Oh.
So she takes half, I take half, and she's my combo call.
Cool.
Combo breaker.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I will have Malachi as my
Okay.
second.
Okay.
You know what you want?
I think so.
I think Jiden's going to go with the Red Wizard of Thay.
My guy.
I said it first.
By far, Jin has remained the most evil of all of you.
You
So-
flash the opal soul gem at him, and be like, "Hey,
Totally
yeah, so-
awesome. Yeah, he totally would be like, and by the way, if you need anyone killed, I'd love to come visit.
Yeah.
All right.
Make it an exchange.
Were you going to go for that?
I was.
You're
I was-
already a wizard,
yeah.
though.
I'm gonna go with that that helmed dwarf.
Nice.
Cool. He's the first one that spoke to
King
you too.
of Citadel Adbar.
Yep, the,
that's kinda
the
cool.
first one that rogered up.
Yep, that's a good one.
Okay. All right. I don't know how that is going to help, but just so we know that they're available for whatever. Yeah. All right. It's go time. So this all starts with you using a scroll, right, Zavir?
Yeah. Zavir goes to walk up onto the walls, and on the way he looks across and he sees a figure, and he walks over to him. before he goes, he says, I can catch up with you if you push ahead, but once I bring this down, it will open a large gap in their lines, but it won't last long. For them to fill it, we'll have to push through.
Very well. Guard yourself, Severe. This has cost you much.
He looks to the others of you and kind of smiles. And he looks at Salai Savrakeen and says, maybe I have a path after all. And on his way up to the stairs, he makes kind of a little circuitous route, and he walks to Darrell Laurel. All Severe carries, besides some pouches on his belt, spell components, stuff like that, is a satchel at his side. And he walks up to him, and he flips open the top of it, and there's a handful of books in there. And he pulls one out. It's old, tattered. It's a spell book written.
It's got a little bit of
and gnomish.
Ooze on
bit
it
of,
still.
A little bit
dry
of
ooze.
dark blood.
Let me just get that for you.
And he just hands it to him, and he says, I'm sorry about your friend. And he turns and walks up the stairs.
Nice.
And he stands at the top of the stairs, and his hands kind of shake a little bit as he pulls out this scroll.
Little 9th level magic.
And he kind of closes his eyes, says a little prayer. The fox runs up to his shoulder and kind of nuzzles into his ear. And he kind of nods his head like he's ready. And he starts the incantations.
Do you have to make a roll for that?
Yeah, you do, technically.
Salai, there's a hand on your shoulder. She says, you always had a purpose, Severe. And I cast Enhanceability.
Oh.
I give you the fox's cunning. And I look down at the fox and I wink at him.
We see from a distance this keep, this bronze keep, swarming with imps and winged drow devils. And then from the eternally burning sky of the Nine Hells, we see these rocks, these chunks of rock burning as they fall from nowhere and just start smashing into the building, smashing into the ground around it, knocking creatures out of the air. They don't seem to do much damage to the building, but they make a path. They just keep knocking imps and drow out of the sky, crushing them under these rocks. And they make quite a scene.
Should I roll for the effectiveness of it?
Sure.
Okay. A little guidance.
Be an
on
arcana.
Arcana.
You have advantage on those.
Okay. 11. 26.
Okay. It's not going to last forever, but it's working at the moment. These things are raining down and just crushing these devils. They're also burning, which doesn't do anything to them, but it's cinematically looks cool. I think you don't have to roll the damage, but I think it's 12d12 or something like that.
40d6 of
40d6.
Wow. Different.
Half bludgeoning, half fire.
Yeah. Some of the lesser demons might not be immune to fire.
Yeah, I don't think imps are, but it doesn't matter because they don't have enough hit points to survive 20d6. So the lesser ones, it doesn't matter at all. But waiting kind of around the perimeter of where this is are these groups, all these little groups of 5 to 10 individuals. And you see this elf woman and this red wizard of Thay on kind of opposite ends, but you can see that they're gesturing towards each other, and they both in unison tell everyone around them, go now, almost before the spell even ends, while the meteors are still falling from the sky. But they know this spell, they know the timing, they know exactly when it's about to end, and everyone is rushing towards the keep right at the right moment. And as soon as it ends, they're there. They're running past these crushed bodies of imps and devils, and they make their way towards all of these different entrances.
It's a beautiful sight.
I love the smell of meteor storm in the morning. It smells like victory.
How are you guys getting up to this balcony?
How high is the wall?
So high.
Pretty high. Pretty drow wall high. Yeah.
Like
30 feet. 30 feet.
30 feet?
Yeah.
How many of us can Misty Step?
I can fly.
Fly? Do you have Misty Step?
Yeah, I could probably climb it, though.
Yeah, I have Misty Step as well.
I can levitate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think then for us, it's almost like this.
It's it's such a silly Marvel movie thing.
Yes, it is. None of us break stride.
Scampering up the wall, flying overhead, bamfing,
Hulk
floating up.
jump. Like,
Right.
We all land simultaneously.
I think that's how
you all hero land at the on this balcony, almost simultaneously. You make your way onto this balcony, past these flowing black curtains that you remember Duskrin boys from your youth. You remember this room, and we see the room where this all started. In the center of the room is a brazier of fire burning. This is where Matron Duskrin summoned Pitrix the Imp. And sure enough, you see him perched on the edge of this bowl of fire, staring into it, looking at some scrying image of what's going on outside. You look around this large, empty room. This is literally a room used for summoning devils by your mother. And Pitrix looks up and smiles. He says, "Hello."
Pitrix.
It's good to see you again.
It's over. We've won.
By what account, Pitrix? As he's saying that, the sword appears in his hand. He's standing there, watching Pitrix.
His eyes go wide. He says, "That's a different blade."
I'm
Under new management.
Yep.
I got a promotion.
I have a different purpose now, Pitrix.
That's not Darkstar.
It isn't.
This is Darkstar.
Oh boy.
He steps out of a shadow,
Uh-oh.
and he is holding your old sword in his hand. Yeah. Malkazid.
Oh my fucking word.
He stands about 12 feet tall and puts a hand on top of Pitrix, and he says,
Hello, sons.
and roll initiative.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
Yeah, boy.
God damn.
And
Family
that,
reunion.
write those numbers down so that we remember them next
Oh,
week.
come on.
I'm writing it on my arm.
This fight's going to be really hard, guys. Just warning you. Go do your homework. Go read the red boards. Thank you for listening to A Tangled Web. Please, if you have time, tell a friend, write us a review, or, just go out and shout it on the rooftops. Check out all of our different social media platforms. You can go to our website and find links at the bottom. There's probably also links on whatever you're listening to right now. That's nastygramrpg.com, and definitely check out the socials because I tend to put little things on there to help with NPCs and visual aids and whatnot. Our intro music was by A Wilhelm Scream. Theme song is Oath by Adrian von Ziegler. All scores by Adrian von Ziegler and Antti Martikainen. Thanks for listening.
That's nasty.
Well done, sir. I take back almost everything bad I said about Devin.
Almost.
I must.
What's still on my record?
Mostly just your opinions.